What is up, the catch fam? Hope everyone is doing phenomenal tonight. Hope the catch fam is out there living the dream, man.
Live it
Dream.
up, live that dream.
We've got Steven in the building. What's going on, man?
What's good, brother? It's our first joint stream since
The
the
baby,
since the baby.
yeah, yeah.
This is gonna be fun. I honestly, I mean, we obviously didn't know how quickly it was gonna be able to happen again, but I'm pumped that it happened pretty quickly. I mean, we were able to kind of get back together, at least for one a week, or we'll see how it goes, depending. But
Yeah.
it's good to still
We
get
had,
out here again.
we had to hop in here and talk some Super Bowl 56,
I mean, so much
Uh,
happened over the past week. I mean, Tom Brady retired twice. It's been eventful.
yeah. Hit that like button on the way in. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Get in the live chat. Let us know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know your Super Bowl 56 predictions. Let's have some fun, Kes fam. So yeah. Let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time here. So Saturday night, we're all sitting around our houses. Saturday day, really.
Mm.
Doing I don't know what you were doing. I wasn't doing anything.
Honestly, man, it was a Harry Potter day. Like I said, I'm really kind of getting immersed in this Harry Potter world. I'll say so
All right,
so
so that'll
far.
cap off the stream for the night. Sorry,
So I'm 3 in now, right? So Sorcerer's Stone 1. I forget what the second one is. So far, the third one is kind of my least favorite, but I like all of them so far. Like they're all really good. Um,
I'm just happy you're into some fandom. Something.
yeah, it's really cool, man. This is like a whole it's like an outer body experience because I'm not. This isn't me, you know that. Like this type of content is not me. But it's cool because I mean I definitely think like Universal Park helped me, and I mean I think that's what
I
those
wish this
parks
was alcoholic.
just so you can get hammered into this. But I mean, it's kind of cool to just see. I thought they did a really good job. They did such a good job with character development. So, um, but yeah, whoever that little blonde kid is, obviously no spoilers, guys. But the little blonde kid, I remember watching the film or one of the films years ago, and I hated him, and I still hate that kid so much.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Steven has been watching Harry Potter. I've completely forgot what I was saying. So I was just sitting around the house, doing my thing, being a dad, and not watching Harry Potter. And no, I was taking a nap. That's what I was doing. Yeah, so being a dad, I was
Yeah, I
taking
was
a
gonna
nap.
say that's much more in the dadscape right there.
And I roll up, and Allison, I kind of woke up, and Allison's looking at my phone because I left it over on the table next to her, and she's like, "You have breaking NFL news," and I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Tom Brady retires," and I was like, "What?" And I was planning on going back to sleep, and she was like, "Tom Brady retires." She's looking at me, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I get my phone, and then I had two texts from you, and the Discord page was going off, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And then scrolling through YouTube and everything. I talked about this Saturday night. Um, everyone was making videos. So everyone was hopping on streams, making Tom Brady retirement streams and everything, and all kinds of content. And I talked about it Saturday night because I was so happy I waited until Saturday night because then we got all the reports from Tom Brady Sr. We got all the reports claiming that he hadn't made up his mind, and that made for an even better stream than just streaming about Tom Brady retiring, because
Yeah.
then we had some conflict and everything. So we went pretty in depth. We did some research Saturday night in the stream, seeing what we could dig up, and it turns out, like many of us thought, that Tom Brady was indeed planning on retiring. It just obviously this got out not how Tom wanted it to get out. Someone leaked
Shout
this.
out Adam Schefter.
dude, this is the second
He's
story,
a piece of shit.
bro. He's good. I
He's
mean, the
cutthroat,
whole
dude.
the Aaron Rodgers thing. Now you got this. I mean, I mean, I can't. I guess I can't really blame Schefter.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, because like those jobs, I kind of don't. I guess when you get to the level of Schefter, like your role kind of takes like it manifests into something almost in its own, right? Like he's a he's almost like a Stephen A. to a certain point, right? Now he's that popular, but it's like at a certain point, like I would imagine relationships are like the backbone of your like career,
Yeah.
and he's basically terminated two relationships with like two of the greatest of all time. And like if your other players or other NFL reps or other coaches, like you might look at it, Ian Rappaport or look other places now for leaking. That would I don't know. I know A Rod like hates him. He calls him like weak chin or whatever. Like I think there
Well,
was some sort of thing that spelled back to the Deflate Gate with Tom Brady and Schefter. So I think
uh,
they have beef as well. But I don't know.
well, my assumption is how this works is so ESPN's who leaked, came out with the first story, right? So my assumption is Schefter has that information, contacts ESPN, they pay him X amount of money for X story that they don't know
Yeah.
yet, and he's got to be compensated somehow, right?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, good for him, right? Like I
Yeah.
guess
I guess. Yeah. I'd
good
say.
job.
And I did think it was interesting too, because obviously, right, then all the, kind of, hey, I'm not actually retired. And then I hear things about like there's like some pay incentives to wait. Um,
He's listen. He's still gonna get that. There's no way he's not
but
gonna get.
was there anything of significance that you knew of today? Because that Bill Simmons came out
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yesterday. You know how I feel about Bill, but he came out and predicted it was going to happen today.
Oh no, I sorry. I thought we were going on a different story.
Yeah. And
No,
so that was weird to me. I mean, he said like I mean it was out of the blue. He was like, I predict that Tom's gonna retire on Tuesday, and like
I
I
didn't
don't
see it.
know. So I don't
I
know if
didn't
there's
see that
anything.
either. The other thing that I saw, I don't know if you read Tom Brady's uh, Twitter post. Announcing the retirement. It's like 7 screenshots or whatever because
Yeah,
they can't
it's weird.
fit it. Yeah. So when I first saw the story today from NFL, right? It was just the last two screenshots, and it said nothing about him actually announcing his retirement. And I was like, what kind of story is this? Like, they're just continuing this on, trying to back up the fact that they announced his retirement. And I was like, what is this? Right. Then I went on Twitter and I found his actual tweet, and I was like, oh, okay. You needed much more context than what was given, but that's just a personal thing, right? But I did hear today that there's if you read the post, right? Did you read it all?
I read it. I don't remember it
Okay.
verbatim, but yeah, I read
Yeah.
it. I know he didn't mention anything about the Pats.
So that's what I'm getting to, right? So you don't see anything about he does thank all of his coaches, teammates, all of that, right? But you don't see specifically, Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots. But now,
Need BB.
what BB, yeah. What I heard is that tomorrow he is flying to the Patriots facility and signing a 1-day
No
contract.
way.
Yeah, and
Is he really
retiring
doing
as
that?
a New England Patriot. That is, I heard that's reports that got to the Pat McAfee show. So you know, they were loosely reporting that, right? And
That's
yeah,
actually a big deal because
so
literally go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
and I think that's part of why he didn't want this to get out because he probably had this everything planned in a very specific way,
Yeah,
right? Including I'm not necessarily thanking the Patriots or Bill Belichick or Robert Kraft or Julian Edelman or whoever, right? Um, because I know that the following day I'm holding a press conference, but I don't know if that's true, right? I'm loosely reporting off of loose reports.
I
So
think that has serious magnitude though for this, right? So again, I will say like the initial kind of piece like of this being kind of implemented in my head was weeks ago when Bill Simmons, an avid Brady fan, avid Patriots fan, talked about how we could easily see the scenario of Tom takes a year off, given everything that's happening with the Bucks this offseason. And he could take a year off from the game, refresh, and then come back to his hometown team, the 49ers. Joe Montana is childhood hero. Again, it's his hometown. And from there, he retires in a Super Bowl type of squad, right? Because the Niners are definitely, they're a quarterback away, not
Yeah.
even a quarterback of Tom Brady's magnitude to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that's out there, right? But and who knows if that's actually going to be true, or 49ers would be the destination, or if it would just be somewhere else. But I mean, you then say if he goes out and actually signs a 1-day contract with New England, like he's not going to go come back and play again, because you signed that 1-day contract. You're not leaving, going to play somewhere else, and then doing another 1-day contract later on. Like that's
No,
horrible.
no. Like I said, loosely reported, but I think it makes a lot of sense. And I agree, if he does that, then he's done for sure. There's no,
Yeah,
Michael Jordan return or Brett Favre return or anything like that.
which I think is a higher likelihood than he's done forever. Dude, Tom Brady's cut a little different, man.
Yeah,
There's no way he steps away from the game for a full year.
yeah. Most
Does it?
most career passing yards, most career passing touchdowns, led the league in both this past season.
Yeah, and had 2 arcs, like 2 Hall of Fame careers. What is
Three.
like? Yeah,
Argue
yeah,
three.
3. Oh, yeah, 3. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean, and it to me, it's really just like I think the news you're talking about with the 1-day contract. Um, if it ends up actually happening, that's a way bigger deal than I think like maybe you see it like surface, because it's
Yeah.
like there's more of a narrative to that. This retirement has already, I mean, dude, the retirement news has already been like dragged through the mud. Like we're talking about like the greatest player, in my opinion, of all sports, individual team ever. Like he has surpassed Michael Jordan. And
And Tiger Woods.
yeah, and his retirement
That was
legacy.
kind of a joke, but I just
Dude,
wanted to mention Tiger
Tiger's
Woods.
up
But
there, bro.
he's
Tiger's up
definitely
there.
up there. I just wanted
Yeah,
to say Tiger Woods. And
it is funny, but he's definitely up there.
no, I
But
got it. Yeah.
it's just like kind of crazy to me. I mean, like the dude,
I think this
dude, we're
is,
not even talking. Like to me, like that wasn't even the big news of today. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well, I think this has been the most dramatic, probably the most intense retirement story we've ever seen. I mean, like the Brett Favre thing was pretty intense. It's got to be up there as well, you know. But I don't think we've seen something like this in quite some time.
It's just not what he wanted, though. I mean, you look at how
Yeah,
how
which sucks.
flawlessly Peyton was. It was
Well,
flawless.
think about I brought this up Saturday night. Think about Big Ben last week, right? When the second his retirement broke, there's an official tweet from his page and from the Steelers page, if I'm not mistaken, with his official retirement message, exactly what he wanted, filmed with his family, exact clips with specific coaches and specific players, specific moments, everything he wanted released to the public, his retirement, So it's like that's what every player deserves to retire how they want to.
Especially Brady.
But it's that's the world of sports.
Yeah.
I do have to bring up this is my favorite news announcement from NBC New York. Tom Brady,
Oh
who
my
lost
gosh.
2 Super Bowls to the Giants during his legendary 22 NFL career, retires. It is awesome. And the Jets had a pretty, I didn't pull it up, but the Jets had a good one too. Well, wait, this might actually,
Yeah, it's the Philly one.
oh, I didn't see the Philly one. I hope I'm not looking.
That's good.
Wow, that is a, I
That's
remember that.
hilarious.
Okay, so this is the same one. I'm already known for dropping a pass and failing to shake Nick Foles' hand as announces retirement. That's
I
awesome.
actually think the Eagles might have stepped up there.
That's pretty good.
Well, bro, this article right here touches on, I think, the next topic that we definitely need to break down with, a little bit of, I mean, I guess sensitivity, but I mean, like, it's a big deal. BB, Mr. Bill Belichick, is involved. Should we start it by, you want to just break it down and then obviously get into these tags, which are
Well,
pretty
actually,
pretty
I can.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you got to break it down there. I mean, we actually got him right here in that same article. So, I mean, essentially, he's claiming, right? Which, like, okay, let's take a step back before we break down the article. This article's got everything in there too. I mean, the end of the day, like, I do believe Brian Flores is absolutely a head coaching candidate,
Yeah.
like without a doubt. And when you look around at the league at numerous coaches who have a job right now and their race, right? And then you look at Brian Flores and his race and the fact that he doesn't have a job, like just starting there, I mean, it was a bad season to begin the year, right? But Tua was hurt. Shout out to my guy Tua. Okay. And they still found a way to win what? Lose? Did they lose 7 games and win 7 games? Or was it 8? Win 8 and
I
lose
think
8.
they got 8. I think they got 8.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. And they still found a way to get done with the half battered Tua. Barely missed the playoffs. I mean, remember what was it? Week 17, week 16? This was like the hottest team. Like everyone's like, the Dolphins, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Dolphins going to
Their
playoffs.
defense was like the hottest fantasy defense in the
Their
league.
defense won like numerous fantasy championships.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. No, it's definitely, like you said, a sensitive topic, which we try to avoid. But I think a lot of things that have come out are big. They're definitely worth talking about, right? I mean, he's claiming that the Giants, Dolphins, and Broncos are suing, you know, we're suing the NFL and then making claims on the Giants, Dolphins, Broncos for racial discrimination. Which, I mean, I think at this point it's kind of hard to deny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's year after year we have, this defensive coordinator, that offensive coordinator, this ex coach, and they don't get hired as a head coach, right? And then like you see like the most random name come up, especially with a team like the Giants. So
Well,
I,
I think Brian Dable is a good coach. I don't want to drag him through the mud. I
sure,
think
no, 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 no.
he
I
should have
don't
gotten
do
a job, but I think
I
we
mean, I
have
guess I was thinking like ex head coaches, like Joe Judge,
yeah, no, Judge is a perfect example. And I mean there's tons. I mean, we can literally just go over the years of examples. I think one example too is not just about getting the position, but maintaining the position, right? And the
Sure.
guy to me that's so glaring is Brian Colley for the Houston Texans.
Yeah,
Who
who had a great
also,
season.
and it wasn't even about like great season, but also just like how do you sign a guy to a multiple year contract and then fire him after 1 year? Where it's like, what were the expectations here? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
and I
th-
guess maybe it wasn't a great season, but like the way you just put it with the expectations in place, you look
I
at
think
like
they outperformed expectations. I thought they
the
showed a
fact
lot
that
of
they competed.
grit. Yeah, the competition. That's what I actually liked a ton about him. I mean, I thought I was very low on him to start off the season. But one thing that I heard a lot, just before he got hired and when he got hired was like all the coaches he worked with before just talked about how much of a culture guy he is, how much of a competitor he is. And I think that's exactly what the Texans needed for the year. I'm not saying this guy was ever going to be a coach that was going to win. And I think him and Dan Campbell may be different, uh, personalities, but were the same types of coaches needed for their jobs, right? These
Yeah.
guys aren't going to be the ones that end up winning playoff games more than likely for that team. But it's just so ridiculous. He gets 1 year.
Yeah, it's
But also, before we get on the text, it's like what I saw too that was also pretty crazy was you saw the part about what the front office and ownership were doing, right? Where the owner said that he was mad because I guess Coach Flores wanted to continue winning games and was actively
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
defiant about tanking the season. And that was kind of a thing too. Was like he was always known as someone that kind of went against front office, right? Which is another, it's not a good thing, but it's an unattractive thing for when coaches or front offices are hiring. But the scarier one was the fact that apparently people in the front office were offering to pay him $100,000 per lost game. Which, yeah, right there, which is nuts.
Yeah, which is a lot of money too.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
incentivizing losses is an issue.
that's definitely I think maybe the most encompassing, like most alarming aspect, right? Because it's awful to say, but we know that there's like racial discrimination already in terms of hiring throughout the NFL, right? But when something like this comes to light, that's not a good look on top of everything, right? On top of all the racial stuff as well. So this is, I think it's bad, and like Brian Forrest said in his initial statement, right? He knows that filing this lawsuit, he may not ever coach again, which I think is an incredible loss for the
Yeah,
NFL, right?
but it's
Um,
true. He might not ever coach again.
and he's saying that he's willing to make that risk, which I think is phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
But that's huge. It's absolutely huge. And it's like, who were you tanking for at that point? Because you already had Tua, right?
Yeah,
Why
well,
are they so
they
deep?
had draft picks, and they were also 2019. Did they have Tua? Yeah, I guess they would have.
Why are they so
Um,
against Tua?
but
That's
either
my
way, I know that there was also issues with. I think he was on the side of trying to go after Deshaun Watson.
yeah.
And so I know that there were other issues in the front office too, right? But I'll just say that, not even as a race thing, but it's also like, let's look at the fact that, like, if those claims that apparently the tanking was real, that like speaks to a much broader topic of like competition in the NFL and fixing.
Yeah.
And we understand, like, we can all point back at that Eagles game against Washington where they put in the third string quarterback and lose that game, right, to get a better draft capital. And it's like, we got to have that eliminated from the game too. So I
Yeah.
think this also kind of gets to another level. And the Dolphins, who, they've got that first round draft pick at the end via the trade with San Francisco. This is a team that should be a pretty hot commodity for free agents because of location and some young talent that they have. But this has got to shell shock any sort of chances of them landing big free agents, such as an Aaron Rodgers, who he did have like decent odds of landing there.
Yeah.
So, I
And
mean, this is not a place to go anymore.
the other rumor I've heard is that Flores and Watson supposedly are a package. Like they had that worked out between each other, and they were hoping to land with the Giants. And obviously that's not happening anymore. But
Yeah.
which is just interesting that somehow Watson and Flores got linked up as well. But can you imagine getting these texts from Bill though?
These are very weird.
Sounds
These are
like
like
you've landed. Congrats. Did you hear something I didn't hear? Giants. How many question marks and exclamation marks do you need, Bill? Yeah, this is just a very awkward exchange between Bill Belichick and Brian Flores. But the best part, sorry, I fucked this up. He just signs it BB.
yeah.
Right. You can
So
tell this is like the best, like this is basically just saying okay, just the letter O, just the letter K. Or like a thumbs up,
yeah,
you
see,
know?
that was so awkward to me. I was like, because like RZ, you read it, it says, "Got it. I hear from Buffalo and New York Giants that you are their guy. Hope it works out if you want it to. That's definitely what I want. I hope you're right, Coach. That's thank you." Like it's like this sounds like some like little child talking to somebody. Coach, you were talking to Brian Flores, or Coach, are you talking to Brian Flores or Brian Dable? Just making sure. And then he's like, sorry, I fucked up. That's brutal, dude. I double checked and I misread the text. I think they are naming Dable. I'm sorry about that. BB. Dude, what if this whole thing was like Bill really just like, I mean, either way, actually, no. I mean, the text could have been fucked up, but the fact that like they still tried to get the interview quota of bringing in Flores to interview him after, it's just ridiculous.
It's definitely a messy situation. No way to get around it. So we'll see what comes from this, but it'll probably take months. I mean, the NFL will push this off as long as they can. I
Yeah.
do think these details about the Broncos is interesting. 2019 Flores met with the Broncos, and then GM John Elway and CEO Joe Ellis, other members of the organization. According to him, the men showed up an hour late, looked completely disheveled. It was obvious they'd been drinking heavily the night before, like, which I definitely believe. So maybe Peyton and Tom will buy the Broncos, and some of that could, get disheveled.
There's just been some random like interviews, and I don't want to discredit any of these people, but I know Hines Ward. I think he got interviewed for the Texans job,
Really?
and it's like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
Hines
Well, Eric
Ward,
Bilemany. How do you say Eric Bilemany?
he needs a job. Eric Bieniemy or
That's
Bieniemy.
who everyone
Yeah, yeah, we've
points
been saying that
as.
for a long time.
Why is he not a head coach? You know, um,
Yeah,
so it's a messy situation, and the NFL will continue to cover it up as much as it can, so to speak. So
yeah, they're good at that.
yeah, no kidding. But anyways, let's hop into some support for the NFL, and let's talk about. Well, let's do a little bit of recapping before we hop into Super Bowl 56, right? Let's see who's up in the chat. Spencer, what's going on, man? Hey, Spence, what's going on, Spence? Talk to us, Spence. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us
Spence
know
to the
what,
fur.
yeah, let us know what you thought about this past weekend of football. Let us know what you're thinking about Super Bowl 56 coming up. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. Kyle, what's going on, man? Talk to us, Kyle. Jason, what's going on, man? Appreciate you guys being here, man. Appreciate you guys coming out tonight. So yeah, I want to get your thoughts here. So we had the Bengals and Chiefs. I think this is, I think this is one of the best AFC Championship games I've ever watched.
It
Seriously,
was.
yeah,
It was really good, and it's funny because I was before the game I was like, man, I felt kind of spoiled about that divisional round because I was like, there's no way in hell that these games like hold true to that. Like, there's no way that this isn't like a kind of a letdown, and it starts off hot with the Chiefs just going up 14-3, and then
the 21-10,
yeah, and obviously the goal line kind of fumble, not just going for a field goal, which.
huge.
But the point is just like hell, like that, like this has been like arguably the best playoff ever. And
Yeah, I mean, if the wild card weekend wasn't so bad, I mean, but if you go from the divisional round through the championship games, absolutely, yeah, absolutely,
and I think a large reason for that too is outside of like Jimmy G, which he does his job to a very high level of game managing. Um, we saw a lot of really good quarterbacks in this playoff.
yeah,
Um, so and good coaches, right? Sometimes you see teams that don't have a very elite quarterback get in there and then they just get devastated by a team like the Chiefs or whatever because they've just got such a competitive advantage there. But this year, I mean, you've just got so many guys at the quarterback position.
yeah.
It's just nuts.
I think the AFC is absolutely stacked. I mean, especially with Brady out, the NFC becomes quite interesting now. Especially if A Rod and Wilson are on the move. And I wanted to
And
bring this
Brady.
up.
And Brady.
Uh, sure. Well, Brady's gone, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like three
Oh
NFC
yeah, yeah.
quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know who is the NFC team anymore.
Well, yeah, sure. Maybe it's the Rams. Maybe it's the Niners.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Cardinals if they can gear up too. Um, but I was thinking about this throughout the weekend as well. If you're Aaron Rodgers, do you really want to go to Denver? Like, do you really want to be in the AFC right now? Do you really want to have to battle the Chiefs,
And the
the Ra-
West.
the Raiders, who were
Yeah.
in the playoffs this year?
Chargers.
The Chargers are Justin Herbert as well. You got Burrow, you got Allen, you got Jackson. You know,
Ryan
wouldn't
Tannehill.
you? I think he might get traded. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you rather stay in the NFC? Maybe probably the Niners, right? Um, so I keep hearing the Aaron Rodgers to the Broncos coming up, obviously with their new head coach and everything. But I'm like, man, if you want to win a Super Bowl, is that really the best move? I'm not sure if it is, in my opinion. But
I don't
but
I don't really like I don't like understand kind of what his real MO is. Like I don't know, like his competitive tick, right? I'm hoping that I saved this photo because I saw this stat about Aaron Rodgers and kind of his stats in playoffs and how it's actually not impressive at all. Of
It's
course I
pretty
don't
bad.
have it now, but he he's an interesting guy ever since he first won the Super Bowl in terms of his playoff efficiency. I mean, he just has not been that guy. But I mean, like the Packers are like a fantastic team talent wise, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah,
Spencer, let us know your thoughts. But I mean, if you look at the Packers and you try to stack that up against the Broncos, I mean, I get it. They have more talent at the receiver position, but unproven guys. I mean, unproven guys, and they don't have an Adams caliber type of player, like which is so much different. I mean, he's going to have to go from relying on Devontae Adams to Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton. I mean,
and
at
Judy.
no point, yeah, at no point really in Aaron Rodgers' career can I really point to him and be like, this is a guy who distributed the ball at a mass volume. Like he's been always kind of like the Packers kind of historically too. I feel like have had like one or two good receivers that they kind of focus on, but I don't know. I don't think there's a reason to leave Green Bay.
I don't either. I don't either. Spencer saying Rogers ain't leaving. I got faith. Uh, okay, so it's a good point that you make because you know we've already heard that the Packers plan on franchise tagging Devontae Adams,
Yeah,
right?
he's not leaving. He's not leaving.
So it's like, what else did you lose from this team? Not really anything. Um, you lose your offensive coordinator, who you've got a great relationship with, but I don't disagree. But I do think that if he leaves, he's got to stay in the NFC. And did Garrett, teaming him up with a guy like Debo Samuel would just be crazy.
I
Uh,
just don't see that happening though. I don't know
yeah,
what they're gonna do. I mean, um
the Niners
I
are
I,
interesting.
I saw something interesting about, Jimmy G and 49er reps are closing in on like a trade or they're looking at narrowing in on some trade options. So I think that that's actually a situation where they are actively pushing to trade Jimmy G before anything in the offseason really goes through, which is cool because I think Jimmy G deserves that. And I also think the 49ers use Jimmy Garoppolo like the best they could. Like the asset
Yeah, and
value
he really,
appreciation got. I mean, he's gonna be like a first, second round pick now.
he really hasn't even had. I mean, for what they signed him for and everything, he definitely hasn't lived up to expectations. Um, but he really hasn't had that bad of a run in San Francisco. And I think really when you watch a replay of that final throw that was intercepted, it wasn't really his fault. Uh, it wasn't a great decision. It was a kind of a Carson Wentz esque throw, but the receiver was open. The receiver just, I mean, actually, when you watch the way that the ball got to the receiver, he could have made a play on the ball. It was the receiver's fault that it was tipped and intercepted. So,
Yeah,
I don't think that the Niners loss is all on Jimmy G, like some people are alluding to. But I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how the NFC kind of shapes out heading into next season because right now, regardless of what happens in the Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford is kind of like the top dog in the NFC. Maybe a Kyler Murray. I mean, the quarterback play is just kind of all over the place. And if Aaron Rodgers stays in place, and obviously Aaron Rodgers as well, but I mean, who am I missing? Who am I missing from the NFC? Why do I just feel like
I mean, you
no?
obviously got Kyler, you've got Russell Wilson if he stays, but obviously that's a
Yeah,
question mark. And the NFC North, you really just got Kirk
Kirk
Cousins.
Cousins is supposed to be in.
NFC South, the best NFC South quarterback is now Matt Ryan. In the NFC East, you've got Dak Prescott if he can take the step. But that's really it. I mean, that's it.
That's
You've
right.
got
Dak Prescott's a good one too.
I think Dak Prescott deserves to be kind of recognized, but I don't think he's like
Sure.
to that level
No, no,
necessarily,
no. I
right?
agree. I agree. But yeah, recognized is a good word. I mean, you got Jalen Hurts on the Eagles. I mean, yeah, the NFC's it's rough. It's rough, and I think you're one of these top guys on the move, then
There's
NFC
a lot of
South.
spots that people are saying like these guys that can go, and it's just like personally, one dude like I've seen like the rumors just like kind of die out is Russell Wilson. Like I haven't really heard anything from him
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
while about what he's thinking or what he's gonna do. I feel like A Rod and Tom Brady have kind of dominated the media in terms of quarterbacks moving around. But when I look at this playoffs, I think the biggest thing that steps out for me is it's in with the new, out with the old. And it's also, we have got to stop think like I love Mahomes, bro. You love Mahomes. But bro, Mahomes is not the for sure locked bona fide number one quarterback. There are so many other guys. Let's say Burrow goes out and wins the Super Bowl this year
Okay.
with the Cincinnati Bengals, who
Yeah,
what
they won
had
two
two
games.
wins last year or something. I mean, that is a much more impressive feat to me, what he's done as a leader than what Mahomes did with Kansas City and Andy Reid. And they were already 11 win plus team. And then you've got Josh Allen, you've got Justin Herbert. We talked about all the other guys you've got. And it's like, can you really see in a world where Patrick Mahomes wins 5 to 7 Super Bowls? The dude already gets hurt like way more than Brady ever did, just because he's much more of a mobile quarterback. But
Well, it's
I
also
mean,
it's much harder to win or have a dynasty team in today's football than it was. I mean, I don't know if we're truly going to see another dynasty or when we're going to see another dynasty because we haven't seen a true one since the Patriots. And they spanned into the 2010s. I was like, really, we just think of the Patriots as the most dominant team because they won two in that era after winning three in the previous 10 years. And you had the Seahawks close to winning
yeah, the
two.
Seahawks, the Seahawks had a great ball club.
They looked like a team that could have won three. I mean, you had the Giants squeeze out two, but they were kind of the end of the 2000s going into 2010, so it didn't really count. But really, it looked like the Chiefs were the next team to be able to do that. And so far, they've won one, lost one. Well, really, if you go, they lost the AFC Championship game, won a Super Bowl, and lost Super Bowl. Now lost another AFC Championship game, which is still incredible by all
Yeah,
means.
it's still ridiculous. It's still
Yeah,
ridiculous.
they were showing some stats during the game of what Patrick Mahomes has done at his age through four AFC Championship games. Well, really three at that point, but now four, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. He's like already surpassed like every quarterback in every stat except Tom Brady in AFC Championship games, and he's like what 26. So, but no, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think the AFC is extremely competitive right now at the quarterback position.
Loaded.
Yeah,
Loaded.
and I think I've actually heard some murmurs out there about Joe Burrow if he wins the Super Bowl potentially being the next best quarterback in the NFL, and I don't think that's unprecedented. I think my
There
favorite. No, good.
there's always the next guy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I would say this. I think Burrow is still older than Lamar Jackson. So that's also kind of crazy, right? It's like obviously we're a year out from like Lamar being Lamar, but Lamar's right there too. I mean, I think if this Ravens team was healthy and maybe Lamar
Yeah,
took a little bit of a step in the playoffs, I mean, if he wins the Super Bowl, well, now we're including him because the guy's
yeah,
so young still. So
yeah.
I
And then
mean,
even like
we just named a shit ton of quarterbacks and we didn't even name Lamar Jackson.
yeah, well, I keep trying to throw him on the list because I think he should be in there. But even Justin Herbert hasn't won a playoff game yet, right?
Yeah, that's surprising actually.
So, uh, but he's just for being going into his third year now. Uh, he looks like he can be a phenomenal talent for a long period of time. So it's uh it's definitely interesting. We're seeing a monumental shift in the NFL right now, right? And it's kind of painful in a way because we grew up with that group of quarterbacks: Peyton Manning, Philip Rivers, Eli Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan. And Matt
Yeah,
Ryan's the last fucking one standing. Ben
I know.
Roethlisberger as well. Ben Roethlisberger in there as well. But I don't know, maybe if I'm missing one or two in there, but Those are really the quarterback. Joe Flacco at a point until he
He's still
completely
there, man. He's still playing technically.
yeah, that's true.
Nick Foles is still
Yeah.
playing.
But I remember when Joe Flacco was like the guy in like the
No,
early,
I don't remember him ever being the guy. I remember
remember
people
he
telling,
wins the Super Bowl.
saying
They
he
gave
was
him
the
a
guy. Yeah,
crazy, they gave him a crazy
yeah, I
contract.
remember that. I remember that.
And there's like 2 seasons he was good. But anyways, probably doesn't need to be on the list. But really, we're seeing a monumental shift with all of those guys retired, except for Matt Ryan, which is I would not have thought Matt Ryan would be the last one standing out of that group.
His time's limited too. We'll see how much longer he's got.
I think he's kind of like if he plays after next year, it's like an Alex Smith type role where you've got a young quarterback sitting behind him or something or learning from him. But I mean, no discredit to Matt Ryan, done plenty of good things in the regular season. Went to the Super Bowl, lost his chance, but yeah, we're seeing a huge shift, right? And it's exciting, but it's also painful and sad at the same time. But we've got Stafford. I guess you could, to some degree, put him. If we're putting Rodgers in there, you can kind of put Stafford in there too.
I think Stafford actually, and you know how I've been talking about him, this season probably. Um, Dude, this guy, I honestly the best thing I can point to is that dart he threw to Cooper Cup to win the game, right?
Yeah,
Against Tampa Bay. The guy's clutch factor, the guy's ability to be into moment, the guy's ability to. This is the first time he's ever been here, and he's playing like he's been there 10 times. And
yeah.
that is something I was not expecting of Matt Stafford at all. I mean, they faced adversity in their playoffs so far. A lot of adversity, honestly. I mean, going up
Yeah.
against the GOAT Tom Brady on a massive comeback and staring down the face of, oh my gosh, this is worse than the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl, and throwing that dime. And then the next game, beating the 49ers, who had your number as an organization. I mean, that was
Well,
very
they almost
clear.
lost too.
I mean, Sean McVay was challenging, anything that could happen. I
He
mean,
used
the
to
guy
every
was
timeout.
single-handedly like trying to lose the game. It was
Yeah,
ridiculous. I
yeah,
mean, I was like, "What the hell are you doing, Sean?"
yeah,
But and he's only 38, bro. He's only
yeah,
38. And he's been to 2 Super Bowls. This
yeah.
guy's a savant. He's a
I do.
savant.
I do think that Sean McVay deserves some recognition. Just like we were saying, if the Niners make the Super Bowl, Kyle Shanahan deserves recognition, whether they win or not.
Yeah,
Um, but no, I think the Ram. Okay, I think the Rams will be around going into next year, regardless of what happens in the Super Bowl as well. But I
and
do want to make the point. Uh, when you look at what the Rams did in terms of signing win now players, right?
I
Uh,
hate I hate the way they play football.
well, think about it this way, right? And you think about what they did in the offseason. They acquire Matthew Stafford, right? They make Odell Beckham look. Let's give some credit to Odell
Yeah,
Beckham, but
OBJ. Yeah,
OBJ, they add Von Miller. They're just signing veteran players that they
Eric
know.
Weddle.
Eric Weddle, and a
Yeah,
great, yeah. I mean, but all the moves that they made. Who really reminds me of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year? Like,
yeah,
we acquired Tom Brady. Let's sign Antonio Brown. Let's just pick up anyone. Let's get Leonard Fournette. Anyone
yeah.
who wants to help us win a Super Bowl, we're going to sign. I mean, they absolutely loaded their front seven. They made really good picks in the draft, right? And the Rams, I feel like almost kind of saw that and implemented like the same kind of style in the offseason and regular season as well. And it worked. And I think you got to give them some credit for what they were able to do with a guy like Odell Beckham. I mean, Von Miller's played quietly very, very well over the last couple of games. And him and Aaron Donald are just starting to kind of mesh together.
Yeah, it was just scary.
Um, Definitely scary. But I
Yeah.
imagine if Robert Woods wasn't hurt.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean that's what I'm saying too. Like Bobby Trees, I feel bad he misses out on their run this season. Which who knows, it might still wind up that they lose, and he was a part of the last team anyway, so it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Um, I,
Uh,
I I will say one thing while we're talking about the coaches, right? And just looking at kind of the savantness of freaking Jean McVay, let's also just take a second to talk about Zach Taylor. Dude,
Sure, sure.
Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor was going to be fired. Like he was one of the highest likelihood coaches to be fired before the season was
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Like,
Um, yeah,
what a turnaround. What a turnaround. And
yeah,
so my question is like, does this speak to a again, we were talking about coaches for like 15 minutes to start this show off. It's like, how important is it to give a coach longer to really see what this
yeah,
guy can do and also build a team to what he wants, give him a quarterback because Zach Taylor, he finally gets Joe Burrow for a full season and they go out and draft, Joe Burrow to kind of, help out his type of spread out offense and it works like it just works to a T. And Zach Taylor takes his team to the Super Bowl. It's just this is one of the most mind-boggling turnarounds I've ever seen, to be honest.
yeah. I was trying to pull up some of them, but I can't find anything or too many of them. But if you go back and look to like 2020, beginning of 2021, this past off season, there's numerous. They were showing some of these during the AFC Championship game. Numerous news reports, especially out of Cincinnati, about how bad Zach Taylor is as a head coach, how badly people want him out as a head coach of Cincinnati Bengals. And I actually, it's funny because I found a couple of them just by Googling Zach Taylor negative news stories. And then after you get through a couple of them, there's a much much more recent article from 2 days ago. Um, Zach Taylor set for a huge extension for Cincinnati Bengals. Like,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
shit.
yeah. But I think you're absolutely 100% correct. We see this happen time after time. Is that I think to be a winning football coach in the National Football League, right? You need more than 2 years. You need more than one
Yeah,
year. You know,
in Colley's case, yeah,
well, and yeah, sure, but I think that we see this happen within a lot of organizations, right? Especially losing organizations. Like, okay, you only won 2 games. If we don't win the Super Bowl this year, you're out.
yeah,
So I think that you're absolutely right that it takes time to build and lead a winning organization, 100%. And I think that this team loves Zach Taylor, and I think he's done phenomenal things with what he's been given as well.
yeah. I mean, the defensive coordinator too. It's interesting that that guy hasn't had any coaching looks. I mean, the turnaround of a defense that the Bengals had this year. I mean, I see in the chat, which we need to get to soon.
Yeah,
Multiple talks about in-game changes and adjustments. I mean, the defense. Most notably, we just saw that in the Kansas City game where after a half they turned it around and just totally changed the game script on them. And that was very reminiscent to what happened in the regular season too, right? Kansas City gets out to a huge lead, go into half, come back, and it's all Cincinnati. And to me, that's just like all coaching and like inability for the Chiefs. Like this is going to crush the Chiefs. Is the fact that Mahomes and Reed are way too aggressive and never just take the easy play, which Brady built, an entire legacy on, is just taking what's given to you. And the Bengals, on the other hand, built guys like Trey Hendrickson coming in organic, taking him in, drafting him. He's an edge rusher. He's leading the playoffs right now in pass rushing. I mean, that guy was a beast. You've got a bunch of other no-name guys getting it done. Eli Apple out here
Eli
talking shit
Apple.
to Tyreek Hill. I mean,
I
come on, Eli
know.
Apple, dude. Come on, Eli Apple. But I mean, this Bengals group has got a bunch of guys on the defensive side who really are playing as a great, like, just a great team together. The offense is loaded. Like, this offense is going to be around for a long time, bro.
Yeah,
Like, Mixon, Higgins, Boyd, Chase, Uzamo. I mean,
Uzama.
Burrow. I mean, dude, there's so many really good options here, and they're all like under 25.
Yeah, it's a great team. I think you add a couple offensive linemen, and continue to
Yeah,
build upon that defense. This is going to be a winning organization for quite some time. All
yeah,
right,
which is
Jerry,
like,
let's
yeah, go ahead.
hop in the chat real quick. Jerry, what's going on, everyone? Nice to see the bros. Nice to see you, Jerry. Steven looked like he just woke up from a nap.
Dude,
Um,
we're both very tired today.
Steven, your mic is a bit off. Looks like I think he fixed it a little bit there. I saw him making adjustments.
John, did you notice it though? I didn't know if you noticed it as
It's a
well.
little washy, but I thought maybe it was
But
my
I didn't.
headset, so I didn't say anything.
Okay.
So, if Rodgers doesn't want to be in Green Bay, he'll find a place to be traded so the Packers get something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that in the last contract that they put together, they've got some mutual respect deal worked out to where they can both walk away from each other and both win. So,
Hopefully.
1777 memorabilia. What's going on, man? Appreciate you being here tonight. Bengals or Rams? We'll wait till the end of the.
Yeah, we're gonna have to break this down.
Yeah. Kyle, what's up, man? Joe Burrow over Stafford. I think it's just supposed to be Stafford, but that would be Stafford is kind
Yeah,
of fun.
yeah, Stafford. Yeah.
Okay. Jared Stafford says memorabilia. Spencer Steven, I'm guessing you think the Rams are winning the Super Bowl with that jersey. We'll find out.
I'll just have to show some love to my boy Cooper.
Stafford can win the game, but he can come close to losing a game. McVay melted down last game under pressure. Thanks to the Niners quarterback for dropping that duck. That's a great point too. Is
ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, that is a great point where Stafford's had like at least one throw in his last two games that you're just like, what are you doing? Like, why did you throw that there? And that was the throw in this game. And if that was an interception, the Niners probably go in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But in the same light, Jalen Ramsey, he didn't really drop an interception. It just hit him in the. I feel like that's like a death zone for defensive backs. It's like it hits you right in that spot in the chest. It automatically the ball bounces off you.
He's usually got really good ball skills too. He's always using his hands. That was kind of weird. He went for his just no hands of an interception. You really don't see that often with Jalen.
I do want to note that Jalen Ramsey tweeted the GOAT. I'm paraphrasing, but he said the greatest quarterback of all time retires after throwing his final touchdown pass on me with like the laughing face emoji, which
That's hilarious.
Is true. It was to Mike Evans, who was being guarded by Ramsey. Supersized Senpei, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you coming out tonight. I want Stafford to get his ring. I will be very happy for Stafford if he gets said Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Rams almost melted down versus Tampa. They got saved with that Eric Weddle personal foul. It's true. Penalty happened after the play. Winky face. Bengals have made elite in-game adjustments these playoffs. They really have. I mean, it looked like we were about to watch the most boring AFC Championship game ever with just the Chiefs whooping up on the Bengals. Same thing, same old story. It's yay the Bengals. They had a great season. Go home, guys. It's the Chiefs' time. But
classic betting happened with me. I took them. I took the Chiefs live when they finally went negative, or finally went plus money on when they were down. And the Bengals at one point were you could get like 16 points, right? You could get them like plus 16. I mean, that's how much like the Vegas just thought there was no chance these guys come back. It was nuts.
It's crazy. Eli Apple, just gonna leave that right here. Dude, when the beginning of this game, I was like, why? Like Eli Apple versus Tyreek Hill is such a bad matchup.
Worked out.
And then it worked out, man. It's just crazy. Jerry, when's the next podcast coming out for Supersize? Misery, hey, Catch, my guy just popping in to say hi. Hope you guys are doing good. Hey, appreciate that, man. Appreciate you swinging by as well, hanging out for a bit. After Bengals coaching staff made in-game adjustments, Mahomes only scored a field goal, which is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Just crazy. Are you guys going to go through the chat? Yes. We are here now, Jerry. Supersize Senpei, sup, man? Just recording an episode today with the boys about Sony buying Bungie. Episode should be out Thursday, guys. Go check out Supersize Senpei's channel as well. Go drop him a like. Go drop him a sub as well. Putting together some great content over there. I said it once, and I've said it again. If Rodgers leaves Green Bay, he's going to the Niners. I won't be surprised. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. I think he needs to go to the NFC. AFC is too stacked. Rams are taking it all. It's coming home. Is it just me, or does Steven kind of look like Cooper Kupp?
Dude, with the sweater I have underneath this jersey, it looks like I have shoulder pads on right now. I'm going to start doing this everywhere. I'm going to start wearing things underneath my clothes to make me look like I've got a much more built upper body on the streams. Do I look pretty jacked right now? Or is this just me? I feel like I look like a Madden player.
Yeah, that's what to say. You look like you have like the Madden shoulder pads, which are just like, yeah.
And dude, Jerry, remember you got to go to LA and you got to check out Super Bowl week when it's down there, man. I want to hear some shit about what's going on in Super Bowl week in LA.
Kyle, so happy Jackson and Brittany are gone. Yeah, you know,
Those guys suck, dude.
yeah, you
Those
know,
guys suck.
that's been like another frequent NFL story kind of floating around is how awful both of them are. Not that that hadn't been floating around all year, but you can't just pour a champagne, spray champagne on a ton of fans in like 24-degree weather every single playoff game. Okay, they only did it once, but if you just go in with the expectation that you can do that, eventually you're going to start losing games and that you can't just do whatever the fuck you want, and act however you want. Um
I just think it's so weird that Patrick is such a. It's almost like all right. So like this, all right. This is like gonna go down a hole here, but there's either like one of two scenarios. Like Patrick's super fake and is actually like an asshole in real life, and is totally cool and supportive of like all the crazy shit that they do, or like two, he like just genuinely can't like tell people stop, like, and just
too
gets
nice.
bullied by his brother. Because dude, you look at Patrick, he looks like the most like innocent, like sweet kid, like on all his commercials. He's a terrible actor. He has like no stage presence in terms of like he's like by far the worst TV personality I've ever seen. And I just don't see like bad guy with him. And then like you see his
there
brother and her, and it's like what the fuck.
there was that one video that surfaced of them three at like a bar or restaurant, and Jackson and Brittany are doing Jackson and Brittany things, and Patrick Mahomes is just sitting next to them. He's like,
Yeah, dude, like that's what I'm saying. I think he just gets bullied, bro. Like,
it's like they're like
I think
drinking,
he
and
makes
Jackson's doing like TikTok dance, and Patrick Mahomes is just like,
I think he makes like $500 million and just like gets his ass whooped.
I don't know, man. Spencer says Jackson may be the most punchable human on the planet.
Yeah, dead ass,
Yeah,
like dead ass.
I mean, you would have to think. Like, I think the Sean Taylor thing was huge. Like, I
Yeah,
obviously
that's
the
right.
NFL is going to suppress things like that, but eventually it's just going to get to the point where someone's going to step in, right? If Patrick Mahomes won't step in, right, then someone from the organization will step in. Something drastic enough will happen. I don't think anyone will get hurt or anything like that, but something disrespectful enough or out of hand enough will happen that someone will have to step in. But at the same time, they're millionaires, right? They're multimillionaires. They're family of millionaires. Like they can get away with a lot of things that they want to get away with. So that's the unfortunate reality. But this has been another story that's been frequently flying around because uh, obviously the playoff win for the Chiefs and Bills with the champagne all over the fans pissed off a lot of people, but then it kind of resurfaced because the Chiefs lost this past weekend,
Yeah,
and people are like, I don't feel people are starting to say, I don't feel bad for the Chiefs. I don't feel bad for Patrick Mahomes losing because I hate his fucking family, which is like,
yeah. Well, I'll say this, right? I think the biggest thing for me is like, I don't like because Jerry's like saying like stepping about what did Jackson do? So I would just say this: look up Jackson Mahomes, and then he's essentially just like a troll. He's like a social media troll, and he just goes around and disrespects people. And his wife is like kind of on that board too, and it's like they're both just like clout chasers. Like they just like
they are.
they want like hype, and they really kind of drag down the PR of Patrick. And so for me, as like just like looking at Patrick as kind of like a brand, it really eventually is going to be something that he's going to have to step in about because
Yeah.
if you're his agent, if you're like people on the business side of his career, you've got to look at them as liabilities because eventually, you know how YouTubers, TikTokers, social media people go.
As a
It
YouTuber.
like it's never just enough, right? Like it's always how much farther can I push it, right? And in today's world, you don't do that. Like you don't push it too far, and like it's right staying on that like borderline of how controversial can we possibly be. And eventually, dude, it's just that's going to be something that Patrick's gonna have to like be like, all right, like I gotta step out in front of this, or else I'm gonna lose money.
Yeah. I mean, eventually it's going to be like, and this might be a loose example, right? But think about this in a loose comparison. When Cam Newton had a ton of sponsorships, including the yogurt, the Greek yogurt, whatever it is, then
Yeah,
he
that
had
was
that right. He had
bonehead.
the moment in the press conference where a female reporter asked him a question, a
That
very
was stupid.
intelligent football question. He said, "It's funny to hear a woman talking about football." And a lot of people took that in a very negative light for a lot of good. It was an extremely immature response, right? And Cam Newton lost a ton of
He lost a
sponsorships.
lot of money. He lost a lot of money.
So
Yeah.
it's a little bit less indirect and it's completely different circumstances. But eventually, you could look at it where if there's enough fans going around right now saying, "I don't care if Patrick Mahomes loses. I don't really root for him or care about him because I hate his family and his wife and his brother," then eventually that stuff starts to trickle down.
Bro,
And
also, here's another thing. And I also think this is a fun topic. Who's the next bad guy in the NFL? Because the
yeah,
bad guy just retired.
bad guy
You need a
retired.
new bad guy.
We need some cheaters out here.
You need a bad guy in the NFL. Every story needs a bad guy. And the NFL has had a bad guy for 20 years. People have watched the game to literally just root against him.
Yeah.
I mean, who is that bad guy?
Vikes highlights in the building. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Jane's out here, very angry. Hello, Jane. Good to see you. Patrick's wife and brother are letting this fame go to their head. I would say part of it's they're definitely Patrick's fame, but a big part of it is money. I can do whatever the fuck I want because I'm rich, which is really in reality a lot of players,
Yeah,
families, and they're just a lot more humble and not in your face about it, right? Um, it's Rogers right now because he's unvaxxed. That's a great point. Rogers
I would
really
say
has
he's a good,
he's been the bad guy really this whole past year. Yeah.
yeah.
Kellen Mond is the next bad guy.
Dude, Kellen Mond is a character he's a bystander. He's like a extra, an unpaid extra.
Baker gonna make the ultimate villain story come back.
I hope
Yeah,
not.
I mean maybe it is Mahomes. I mean we got to get another Deflategate and Spygate out there, which I have heard this come up, throughout the past couple of days about Brady. Is a lot of people saying bringing those things back up about the cheating and everything. Which for me, I'm like, I don't really care about Deflategate at all. I don't.
I do. Fuck you. I do. What the hell?
And then when you think about Spygate, it's like, okay, well, here's the thing with both circumstances, right? It's basically been proven that multiple teams were doing everything that happened in Deflategate, and then it's basically been proven that multiple teams were doing everything that happened at Spygate. I don't want to get on too much for a tangent because we've still got Super Bowl 56 to talk about. We've gone in a lot of different directions, which is completely fine. But I don't know. Brady has definitely been the bad guy, and I think for like me and you and your mom, who's probably punching a pillow right now, hearing Tom Brady's name, and just or just like thanking Jesus that he's retired. Or I don't
She
know.
was hype. She was
Yeah.
hype.
Uh, we grew up rooting against Tom Brady 100%. I talked about that
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night. We despised Tom Brady growing up, as Colts fans, as the guy who we just, there was a point, especially like 2010s, where you just got tired of seeing the Patriots win, of seeing Tom Brady dominate the AFC. You just wanted somebody else to get a shot, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point in both of our lives as football fans, we're like, "Fuck it, he's the best of all time." Like you just have
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
you have
It
to
was
give.
after that Falcons game. It was after the Falcons
Yeah,
game.
for me, I brought that up
Yeah.
Saturday as well. I remember watching the Seahawks Super Bowl with you and your mom on a couch at Dusty's house. Shout out to Dusty, the old house. And we watched. We were so hyped because everyone was saying Patriots are going to win. It was like, oh yeah, Patriots Super Bowl. Everyone was there, and me, you, and your mom were like, Seahawks. Let's go
Yeah.
Seahawks, baby. And then it was happening, and then that interception happens. I remember we just all sat there silent,
Yeah.
completely silent. But and in that Super Bowl, I still despise Tom Brady, but when it came to the Falcons Super Bowl, it's like this is probably the best game and the best Super Bowl I've ever watched in my entire life. And you just have to give respect to what he accomplished, as
Yeah.
a quarterback in the National Football League. Um,
I see
let's
some
see.
great comments right here about nuts and Tom Brady.
I'm the only one of my friends that doesn't ride Brady's nuts. I'm so sick of hearing about him all the damn time. My Jets friends are so happy he's retiring. Vikes highlights
I'm all
all
over
over
this
these
nuts.
nuts. Yeah, I think if it's a remarkable story when you really think about it, right? 6th round draft pick, what is it, 199th overall, and now he essentially leads the NFL in all major categories, like
Yeah.
from the quarterback position, and then from a winning perspective as well. And it's a remarkable story. We got to live through it. We got to watch it. And while we hated it at most points, right, while it was extremely frustrating, at times it even seemed boring. Uh, it's when we look back on it, it's remarkable that we got to experience that through our young NFL, you know, fanship. Is that a word? And it's
Fandom. Like
fandom, sure.
fandom.
It's coming to an end. So, as Vikes highlights says, hate him or love him, he's the indisputable GOAT. And you really can't. I will always, for fun, make an argument that Peyton Manning's still the best regular season quarterback of all time. So,
That's fun. Yeah, I mean that's fair too. I mean, I will say this. So just before we move into the Super Bowl, is let's who do you think right now? Because this is something I'm just beating down a hatch about like hated and loved. Who? So we kind of said maybe A Rod's the guy who takes the crown. I don't actually just. I kind of agree with that. I think he probably has the best odds to be that guy. But who do you think's the most loved quarterback right now? I kind of like Burrow as this guy here because you
I was
see
going to say,
Burrow's his social media game, his outfits,
yeah,
the
yeah.
cigars,
He is
the
fresh,
way he's fresh. The
bro.
dude's like a new type of energy. Like I feel like he's got like that it factor. He's got the swagger. I'm from Akron, Ohio. Like I don't know.
I think you were kind of copying the turtleneck look from Joe Burrow.
Dude,
You
no,
know,
what the hell, man? He copies that from Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Dude, I love the turtleneck vibe. And then I see
he rocks
Joe
them hard.
Burrow come out here. Dude, what kind of swagger do you have to walk into a game like that against the Kansas City Chiefs to have a fucking turtleneck on? I mean, he's an
Yeah,
animal.
yeah. I would say Josh Allen, but I really like Joe Burrow in there as well.
Yeah.
And we've been Burrow fans for a while at my wife and I's joint bachelorette party. This is probably the highlight of it.
Was
Was
seeing Joe Burrow?
because I don't watch college football really. I don't. And it was Saturday night, and you were like, find a good college football game. I don't remember who they were playing, but that was like Burrow's breakout year. And we
Oh,
threw on
yeah,
the
he
LSU
torched
game,
it.
and I was like, dude, that dude's really fucking good.
Yeah,
That guy is really fucking good.
he's got the sauce.
And that was before he really broke out. And then,
Yeah,
like, over the next couple of months, next year, it was like, oh, this is your number one draft pick, before we knew it.
yeah.
So I like Burrow a lot, and I'm extremely happy for him. And it's just, you see one of those shifts where, we're always ready to label a team as underdog team or a team as good job for winning a playoff game or good job for getting the championship game. And a lot of times we do it far, far prematurely because at this point, especially if Burrow wins the Super Bowl, I mean, we're looking at one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League for the next, 15 years at least,
Same Super Bowl wins as Patrick Mahomes
if
at
he
a very
wins. So,
similar age. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, there's only one person more unathletic than Peyton Manning. That man is Brady. Can't run or catch, but damn, the D can throw. Yeah. You see my message about Harbaugh? Don't
Yeah,
leave him out.
bro. Yeah, Harbaugh is going to be so the Michigan coach. It's basically solidified. So thanks, Vikes highlights for coming out here and also talking about that because that's a big deal. Current Michigan coach, the old 49er coach that brought him to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick, Michael Crabtree. He is going to be the next coach of the Minnesota Vikings. This is a huge, high profile name, big time coach to bring in there. I love Harbaugh. I loved Michigan just purely for the hardball system, which is smash mouth football, gritty football. he was always known as kind of a quarterback coach. Never had a good quarterback in Michigan though, but I do love the way this guy, has like just plays the game. I mean, coaches the
Yeah,
game. Very similar to his brother in Baltimore. So
a little
um,
different though.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I like these dudes.
Remember,
I like their energy. I like their energy a
remember
lot.
when yeah, it definitely similar energy, but I think it's presented in a different way. But remember when they squared up in the Super Bowl? That was crazy.
Crazy,
That was
crazy.
super crazy. That's a great Super Bowl too. Still a little weird about those lights. We need to look into those lights at before after
If you're the
halftime.
Vikings, man, bro, this is a Super Bowl team. We're looking at the Bengals as turning it from 2 wins to turning it all the way around. Let's say the fucking Packers lose A-Rod. The Minnesota Vikings here are in a prime position with that loaded offense, a pretty good defense with a lot of young corners, young players on that defense. And then you bring in a coach like Harbaugh, who is a culture changer kind of guy, a big time player coach. This is definitely a team that could take that next step.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins is the key to that, right? So Harbaugh's got to get in, unlock Cousins, and bam, this could easily
I
be
thought they were
a
trading
contender.
Cousins.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think he's the future, right? But I don't think they'll trade him. I think he's probably so. You can't get any better this offseason
Yeah,
because
that's
Russell Wilson's not going to stay. It's going to be tough for that. Like that would be the only one that would maybe make sense, right? They're
true.
obviously not going to get Aaron Rodgers. So there's no other real free agent that I would take over Kirk Cousins at this point.
Let's just really quickly, before we hop into more Super Bowl talk, what are kind of like the fallouts and implications in your perspective from Tom Brady's retirement? Like we've got Chris Godwin set to be a free agent. You've got Fournette set to be a free agent. How does the NFC South start to look? What is Bill Belichick thinking? What are the Patriots thinking? Does it mean anything at all to the Patriots? Um, what are your initial thoughts there?
I think for me, it's funny because Ben was hitting me up and he kind of thought that Jimmy G was going to go to Tampa potentially. And for me, I look at this as a complete rebuild for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think this is the end of their brief era, and they're going to be moving on. A lot of trust and a lot of love from Bruce Arians and Blaine Gabbert. So we'll see how that goes. This guy has had a very underwhelming career. They got Kyle Trask, the old quarterback from Florida. They can obviously draft a quarterback at the end of the first round. That's a pretty good spot too to take a quarterback. But they're going to lose Chris Godwin in my mind. I think he
Yeah,
walks. I think I've heard some stuff about him going to Philly, and they're going to lose a lot of other guys too on this team. And this is going to be a situation where, I mean, the NFC South is so weak right
yeah,
now. It's almost like every team is in a rebuild in the NFC South. That they could do a rebuild, and if they can get somewhat of something at the quarterback position, it could still work out. But I remember too, before this whole Tom Brady thing came into play, Bruce Arians was hinting at the fact that maybe when Brady left, Arians might step away. So I don't know,
yeah.
man.
That'd be
Who knows what the hell is going to go on there? Byron Leftwich might get this Jags job. I think he's on like the third interview now,
yeah.
which I don't know. I always am concerned about following a coach that was tied to a great quarterback. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, man, a
And
lot
a
of
great
fallout.
quarterback himself.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Shocked to
Number
find that.
7 for the
But
Jags, bro. I just
go.
remember Marcus used to have that jersey all the time, and it was sick.
Didn't he have a stint with Washington too?
I don't know.
So Jason Pierre-Paul set to be a free agent. So that's a big one as well. Ryan
Yeah,
Jensen, center,
huge.
set. Ndamukong Suh set to be a free agent. So you've got a couple other pieces. Gronk, of course. We haven't talked about Gronk. I think
He's a
Gronk's done.
retire.
Yeah, Gronk's
Yeah,
100% done in my mind. William Goldston, their defensive end, set to be a free agent. I mean, that's actually a pretty big loss. He's pretty
yeah.
quiet, but definitely has made an impact there as well. So you've actually got several players that I missed there off the top of my head. But
And bro, the Godwin one's huge, man, because
I mean,
Mike Evans is
Jensen's
getting
huge too.
older, man. Yeah, Jensen's probably the biggest, but losing Godwin, that's massive because you obviously, AB's not there anymore.
Ooh,
You've
OJ
literally
Howard
got
too.
you've got an old Mike Evans, and then you've got Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller. You've got scraps at the wide receiver position.
Yeah,
I
obviously
mean,
AB's gone. Uh,
Fournette, Fournette's right. Fournette should probably be
Burnet's
on the way
gone.
out too.
Yeah, he is.
Ronald
OJ Howard.
Ronald Jones, I think,
Ronald
as
Jones
well.
is out too. Yeah, that just came up.
Yeah,
I'm going through all the free agents, not really
like their
Ronald.
entire team is gone, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a lot of players.
and
So
I
I think
definitely don't think Fournette or Jones come back. I think they're done.
wait, Aaron Stinney. I don't know if he's a starting guard. I don't think he is, but he's out too. Um, Steve McClendon. He's not a
Yeah,
bad D tackle. Wow, that's a lot of players. Kevin Minter,
yeah.
linebacker.
He played
Holy shit.
meaningful snaps.
Josh Wells is set to be a free agent too. Okay, so yeah, I think this has to be an absolute rebuild. This is probably a big reason why Brady didn't want to go another year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just
Yeah,
he said he did what Rogers is doing. He's basically acknowledging the fact that it could be an interesting off season and trying to get the fuck out of it. And that's why I really do think if Brady doesn't sign that 1 day contract with the Pats, he might come back.
sure.
Um, I see Jerry in here saying, "Did Brady say why he's retiring?" I think our kind of controversy or our kind of maybe theory is that he got out in front of a bad situation, but I also think that like Brady was kind of at a place where I think he was for the first time in his life okay with stepping away from the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever felt that before. Now, Jerry, let me know if you think that a guy like that could stay away from the game for more than a year. I don't think he could personally. Some people are just cut different. And I think he's going to want to come back and play again. I really do. Which would be cool. Would be good for our content. We'd have a ton to talk about next year too.
If you go to Tom Brady's Twitter, you can see his announcement. It's pretty lengthy, so definitely a lot of different aspects that he hit on. But yeah, yeah, and basically, I think went out maybe not on the top of his. I don't want to say they didn't go on the top of his game, but he didn't go out winning the Super Bowl, right? Like when Manning retired, like when he won the Super Bowl, everyone was like, "There's no question, like Manning's retiring after this game, like no doubt about
Yeah,
it."
not coming back for another like unathletic as hell season.
No, no. A game managing season. He had a phenomenal season that season.
Yeah, that was
Brock
true.
Osweiler was kind of sprinkled in there, but we
Bro,
don't
I
need.
can't believe Brock Osweiler was actually like relevant for a decent amount of time.
We don't need to. We don't need to think about that. But wins the Super Bowl last year for Brady, and then this year leads the league in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and has a career
Yeah.
high in both categories. Basically, went out on as good of a note as he can go out on. I mean, he's fucking almost 46, right? Like he did things that we've never seen done before, right?
And this was not an ideal situation in terms of what he had around him. I think maybe at surface value, it's like easy to say, "Oh, dude, the Bucks were kind of loaded," but like, dude, the Bucks actually had a ton of injuries, and he had, obviously the AB drama. I didn't even have AB half the year. Um, there were tons of injuries everywhere. I thought this was like one of those seasons where if Tom Brady somehow won the Super Bowl, it would have been one of the more impressive years he had,
Yeah.
just because of some of the things he would have had to overcome, especially at the age. So this was a great year for him, great way to cap off. And I mean, Jerry's talking about the Bucks going forward. I mean, for me, I think you can really kind of play middle of the field and be both competitive in the division, to not totally let down your fans, which are going to come off of a super high, and also do a rebuild and start drafting. To me, honestly, I know like in my next mock draft, I'm going to play around with it. I'm going to look at them taking a quarterback in the first round into back half because it's like, honestly, why not just get cheap at the most expensive position? And then just start building out, right? Get some guys at the defense, which John, you've listed off a shit ton of defensive guys that are going to be gone. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, right? The Rams are going to eventually have to deal with that. I mean, the Rams don't have a fucking first round draft pick until what 2024. These teams that really go all in, for a short period, eventually, you gotta pay your due.
Sure. Sure. Smokey the Cat, what's going on, bro? What's up, guys? Thanks for the stream. Thanks for being here, Smokey. Good to have you here, guys. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure if you're new to the channel, hit that sub button. You join the Catch fam tonight. Almost to 800, guys. So close to 800
So
subs.
close.
Jerry, I wish you were retired after winning the Super Bowl. He's won enough. Has he
Yeah,
been?
seriously.
What did he go to 10 Super Bowls?
Yeah, I think something like that.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Because he lost the Eagles, he lost the two Giants. Yeah,
Jeez, it's a lot of Super
yeah.
Bowls.
Imagine the AFC. The other question is like, how many AFC conference championships has he been to?
Too many.
That's ridiculous.
I know he has the record. It's over 20.
It's
Wait.
absurd, bro.
I think
I don't know about over 20, but it's probably close to that, honestly, when you start thinking about it.
Quick question: would you all trade Najee and Dynasty? Look at this, some fantasy talk.
Let's get it, Jason.
2022, 2023, 2024 first.
Holy
Just keep
shit!
Najee. Kind of wanted to rebuild, but Najee Litter is my only asset on my team. Thoughts? Ooh, that's a lot of first round picks. I think that's fair value for Najee Harris, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think the question comes down to you is, do you want to rebuild or do you want to keep your best asset on your team? You could really strike the right chord over the next 3 years and not need Najee Harris, or you could make 3 bad draft picks and really need Najee Harris. So it's definitely a decision you're going to make. But yeah, I do think that's fair trade value for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you already hinted at the fact that you kind of want to rebuild. One player doesn't make a team either. I mean, I think getting 3 first-round draft picks is going to put your squad in a really good position. And Najee Harris is going to be a very different player next year in my mind.
Yeah.
I just think that this system's going to look a hell of a lot different without Ben Roethlisberger. And the fact that you can get 3 picks for this dude, this is the beautiful opportunity to cap on that, in my opinion, especially in a year where we saw, first, second, third round draft picks at the running back position become kind of meaningless. I mean, it was really fourth through eighth round running backs that ended up panning out a ton because of injuries. So I don't know, just food for thought, but I like that. I don't mind it.
Let's see. So Brady Super Bowl wins 7, Super Bowl appearances 10, Super Bowl MVP 5, NFL MVPs
Jeez.
3, Pro Bowl selections 15. Most games started 316. These are all records except NFL MVPs tied for second. Everything else he owns. Playoff games started the most. QB regular season wins, QB playoff wins, pass completions, passing yards, passing touchdowns, playoff pass completions, playoff passing yards, playoff passing touchdowns, game-winning drives, fourth quarter comebacks, and overall approximate value by whatever the NFL official ranking for records is. He is number 1. And now I just really want to know
The AFC championships.
how many AFC championships Tom Brady? Okay, it came up pretty 9. Okay, which is the most by any player. Not 20. I don't know where I got 20 from, but wait, that's just he's won 9.
Yeah,
How
I was
many
gonna
times has
say.
he been? He's been to. I was like, yeah, that still seems low. Yeah, he led the Patriots to 13. So if it's just AFC, he went to 13. NFC, he's been to 1. So 14 total.
Yeah, solid.
That's a lot.
And 2 conferences. Yeah.
And he won 9 of those. He won 10 of those total. He won 9 with the Patriots, 1 with the Buccaneers, which is crazy. So, yeah. All right, let's hop into the chat real quick. Then let's get into some official Super Bowl 56 talk. Jerry, 10 subs away from 800. Feels like the 500 substream was just the other week. Yeah,
the handstand, man. The
handstand. That was dangerous. Ronald, what's up, bro? You can't really look at the total fantasy points when looking towards next year. You have to look at the per game average. Sure. Misery A Catch got a bail for now. Got to charge the phone later. Hey, appreciate you coming out, hanging out for a bit, man. We will see you next time. Appreciate you being here. Because you have to go in assuming no major injury. Sure. All right, Super Bowl 56. We need like a drum roll. We'll call these early. Thank you, Stephen. Early predictions. Because there's a chance, next week we can reevaluate this, right? These are more like initial thoughts, discussion and predictions. Um, we got the Rams and we got the Bengals. Almost was the Niners, Steven's Super Bowl pick in the preseason.
Hmm.
Was not the Chiefs or Bucks, which was mine. I don't remember who he chose for the AFC. I think he chose the Chiefs. So
I probably went Chiefs. Yeah.
I think he went Chiefs Niners. I went Chiefs Bucks because I'm very, very, very vanilla. Um,
We had the Browns also making it pretty far
we
too,
had
which a
we were
lot of
high on
people
the
did.
Browns.
A lot of people did.
Yeah,
I think I had the Browns in the conference championship.
yeah, I was pretty high on the Browns going in this season as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me just say this before we actually start like really deep dive in this game, and we've kind of danced around it a little bit. Just overall, are you happy with this game?
oh yeah, I'm happy with this game.
I'm not.
I am. Why?
I'm not.
Why? You think it's rigged? You
I
think the Rams are just going to get it?
no. Actually, I don't. I think it's going to be competitive. I don't think it'll be rigged. I just don't really like. I feel no connection to either of these teams.
We just
I don't
talked
know.
about
Like,
how much we like Joe Burrow.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm rooting for the for the Bengals, but like, I just like I feel like I wanted Tampa or I wanted Kansas City or I wanted the Bills. Like, there were just like other teams I really wanted in this game, and like they really put a good effort forward, and they're not going to be there, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. The Rams, dude, I'll be honest, like I don't like teams that build as inorganically as they did. I also just there's something about the Rams that like I just don't love. Like I don't know what it is because I love Sean McVay. I like Stafford. I like Cam Akers. I like Cooper Cup. I
Trying to
obviously like
say, like,
Ramsey and Donald. I love a lot of their players, but it's just something about them. It's just I don't know. I'm not in love with it. I'm not in love with it.
okay. Yeah, you've had that feeling about the Rams like all season long, and in
Yeah.
preseason too. Um, I don't mind the Rams. I think if we're talking emotional connection, I like Joe Burrow and the underdog story the most.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
I get what you're saying though. I'm very indifferent. Like Allison was asking me, she asked me the same question for the AFC and NFC championship game. Like, who do you want to win? I'm like, I'm indifferent.
I
Like
didn't give a shit.
yeah, like I'm in it. Like still exciting to me. Like the last 5 minutes of each game was on the edge of my seat. Like these are two great games, and like I still love it. I want to watch these games. Like I'm here for football and everything, but I don't care who wins. Like there's a reason for me to root for Andy Reid getting another Super Bowl ring just as much
Aaron
as
Rodgers. Aaron
yeah,
Rodgers. I would have liked to see him too, man.
yeah. Well, it's like really the every team that played last week or in the divisional round going into this past weekend, like I could find a reason to root for each individual team.
Yeah.
I'm completely indifferent at the end of the day, and you know, that probably has something to do with me not really having like a true team I root for. It's like if the Colts made the playoffs, like obviously you'd be rooting for the Colts all the way through, but that's probably never going
Yeah.
to happen in the next 75 years. But um,
Just wait
you
till we
know,
get Jimmy Garoppolo, bro. Just wait.
sure. Yeah, I get what you're saying though. I don't have like a giant emotional connection, but I don't feel like I need to. Like I still feel like it's going to be a good football game, and that's all I really care about. I definitely hope it is. And we've been kind of spoiled the last 2 weekends, and we were not spoiled wild card weekend, um, really whatsoever, other than the Bengals and Raiders game, right? There was one other close game in there, right? Was the Niners Cowboys wild card weekend too? Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I think the Niners kind of drove that game for the most part.
sure. There was at least some drama. Other than that,
Yeah.
it was blowouts.
Real quick, side note. Did you know Debo Samuel, who is on his rookie contract, is 26 years old? This guy's
No,
old. That's a pretty old receiver. All right, but
what an
anyways,
old guy, an old ass man, as Ronald would say.
he's my
Um,
age. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's listen, I think overall the Rams are built better. I do think that overall they're a better team, but I think that the Bengals, we kind of talked about this uh we've been looking for that it factor, right? Like we picked the Packers because we felt like they had an it factor, right? I think
Yeah.
the Bengals right now are the team that have an it factor,
Yeah.
and there's just something about them, and I can easily see either team winning. Like this is one of the tougher Super Bowls for me to predict in some time.
Yeah.
And like last year, it's like you believe in Brady or you believe in Mahomes, and that's your team, right? The year before that, you were probably picking Mahomes, or you're a Niners fan, or you really really like that Niners defense. So it's just I think it's a difficult team or a difficult game to call, but and I really can look at it two different ways. Like part of me wants to say, yeah, I'll go Bengals. I'll ride the momentum. I'll ride that it factor, the feel good story. And then part of me is like, fundamentally, the Rams. I think they have a better defense. I think their skill position players are just on par with the Bengals. Really, when you're looking at T. Higgins and Jamar Chase versus OBJ and Cup, Mixon versus Akers, I probably give the Bengals, the nod there. No offense to Akers, but you look at the quarterback play, it's pretty even par. But
Yeah. No,
Burrow
no.
feels like you got two players at completely different ends of the spectrum in terms of their career. Right? You got Joe Burrow in his second season. No one expected him to be here, cementing his place in the NFL right now for years to come. Then you got Stafford, who could, if he wins the Super Bowl, just walk away if he wants to. Although I think he'll play next year regardless. But I could really see either quarterback stepping up in this game, or both quarterbacks stepping up in this game. I think the Bengals have the weaker defense without a doubt, but as we saw last week, they apparently can make halftime adjustments against one of the best offenses in the league and win a football game. Hold the Chiefs to 3 points in the second half. So I think it's a very, very difficult game to call. I will say one thing before I let you talk here. Both these teams, Stephen, what do they have? What do they have in common at one position that's just phenomenal?
Receivers.
Kickers, Stephen. Evan
They
McPherson.
do have the two best kickers in the game.
Hey, I want to bring this up though. This has been like the playoff, like the year of the kickers in playoffs,
It
man.
actually has.
The divisional rounds and the championship game rounds, like literally came down to kickers performing. And McPherson has seriously been underrated as a rookie. And
He's
Matt
creating
Gay,
like a legacy right now, bro.
yeah, he's gonna get a nice little contract in 3 years or whatever. But um, I just want to put that out there. There's two very good kickers in the Super Bowl as well, and we can't forget about the kicker
Bro,
position.
can we also take a second to understand? Did you see what Jalen Ramsey did to Robbie Gold when he like
Yes,
got up in his face and was talking shit,
yeah,
and
Robbie
like
Gold in
and they were
pregame.
taunting him like in pregame by like getting in front of him during his kicking and shit. I was
Okay,
like,
see what I
bro,
saw. I just saw Robbie Gold like kicking football extremely close to Rams players over their
yeah,
head. I didn't know that they
but
came over and stood
well,
there.
like either way, like you don't like block like so I don't know. The way I saw it, maybe it's just because I'm very defensive of kickers, is that like they were like messing with his pregame kicking and just getting in his way, and that happened in the Packers game too. They did the same thing in the Packers game. So this is like a reoccurring thing with Robbie Gold, I guess, but that dude's like a savage, bro. And like Jalen Ramsey like got up in his face. It was just like, I'm gonna go after like the weakest player on this field. And I am going to try to like intimidate him. Like Ramsey scares me, bro. Like Ramsey actually scares me.
Yeah,
Like I see Spencer calling him a menace. Like that dude is actually like I
but
would
like
be terrified to be a receiver against him.
yeah, but that's what you want in your number one
Oh
corner
yeah, he's
and
a
number one
true
corner in the
alpha.
league.
He's a
It's
true
like
alpha.
when Dion plays, like everyone hated Dion. Like
Yeah.
everyone hated Dion except for his teammates, who actually some of his teammates hated him. Or some of his teammates awkwardly ended up on the same team as him, where in prior years they were going against him. And then when he retired, everyone looked back and loved him. And I think maybe Dion a little bit cleaner in his approach, at least how we remember him. But Ramsey just he
Remember
just
when
scared
Ramsey
me.
came out with that like 31 team like shit fest of all the quarterbacks. He
Yeah.
just went through every quarterback and was like, "Yeah, the motherfucker sucks." And like
Obviously amplified by like the age of social media and
I
everything.
was just like, "Bro, like you're wild for that, man." But let me just say something, right? Let's. I'm gonna get into. We'll get into the chat right after this point, right? But um, I think that the X factors here in this game, before I talk about kind of who I have in this and also what Vegas currently has it at, and I think it's gonna change. Like I think Vegas is gonna probably get a little bit tighter in their spread before the game, since we're like 2 weeks out. But um, I think one of the major X factors is the Bengals, right? Against the Tennessee Titans, they had 9 sacks, right? Um, they were better against the Chiefs, but this offensive line has been an issue for a long time.
Yeah.
And now you're going up against the Rams, who have been very fierce as of late in the pass rush.
It's a good point.
Obviously, led by Aaron Donald. He is him and Von Miller are going to have their way with that offensive line,
Yeah.
and it scares me because on the offensive side, you can rely so heavily on Joe Burrow getting it out to one of those really, really skilled receivers. But then on that side, you're facing Ramsey, who can easily shut out whoever he's on. And he doesn't stick to one receiver, right? He's traveled a lot this year, or not traveled. He's kind of played his zone and played the number 2 or number 3, just kind of all over the place. Um, and then you've got, Williams too. I think it's a Darius Williams, but he was also a very good corner.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
played
so
well.
you've got a lot of talent, and it's like if Burrow is forced to make some throws he doesn't really love, it's not like he's got clear cut advantages on the receiver comp there. So it's interesting. I think that's a major X factor is how this offensive line can step up. And then what I think is also a massive X factor, and this is going to come into my decision and who I pick. So I'm just going to put it out there, right? Is is clutchness. Who is going to have more clutchness out of the tandem of Matt Stafford and Sean McVay and Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow? Because the chat, you guys are right on the money in the sense that Sean McVay and Stafford have been kind of choke artists. They have made some very questionable calls, questionable throws throughout this playoffs and gotten away with it. And we've seen Sean McVay in the big moment, especially when he's up or just like in a spot where second half, right? There's a fall off. And on the opposite end of that, the Bengals are a second half team. Bengals never are too far behind. Joe Burrow is going to fight until less than 0 seconds left on the clock. Like this is a team that is going to come for your throat every single play. I mean,
That's true.
that and hey man, coaching and sometimes it's not the guys on the field, sometimes it's the grit in them. And
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit more grit to this Bengals team than the Rams team. And these Rams teams are full of superstars who I have a lot more faith in a guy like Joe Burrow than a guy like OBJ, let me just say, in terms of winning.
Okay. There's Burrow versus OBJ there. Okay.
No, but you get what I'm
Interesting.
saying. Like
Interesting.
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like I mean, like you look at all these players on their teams, it's like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I think there is an element to the Bengals where it's like none of these guys are big contract players. None of these guys are like warship superstars. This is a team that's like, they're the underdog, clear underdog. Nobody's expecting anything out of them. Meanwhile, the Rams are,
I mean, the Rams, you got Ramsey, future Hall of Famer, Donald, future Hall of Famer, Miller, future Hall of Famer,
Stafford
OBJ,
future.
maybe if he can piece together a couple more seasons. I mean,
Yeah,
originally sought out to be the next best receiver all time, like his first,
yeah,
3 or 4 seasons. So you've got him in there, right?
yeah.
Stafford, of course, future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. So you've got players who, like, if they win a Super Bowl, they're cemented in the Hall of Fame. Like,
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Stafford's a Hall of Famer if he wins.
Yeah, for sure. And I would
Yeah,
argue he is either way, but if he wins, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt in my mind.
yeah.
But Aaron Donald, Hall of Famer no matter what. But
He's
a
the
lot of
greatest
those
of
other
all time.
guys, I think those Stafford and Donald are the only two, like, you can say without a doubt. But you got other guys. Oh, Miller, I would say too. Is very good.
Ramsey. I mean, dude, they've got the point is
Yeah,
that you're making is they have like 5 people that are Hall of Famers.
yeah.
Uh,
And
and
then
I
you
will
got
say this:
Burrow and
Von
Chase.
Miller's done it. Von Miller's done it. I mean, he's
McVay's
won
been
it.
there.
So,
Donald's been there.
yeah, and so I guess my point is, and Spencer talks about it too. Rams are a team of individuals. The Bengals are a team.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good way to put it. It's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Curious to see what the chat says, though. Man. We got to get in here because this chat, man, you guys are lighting it up
Andrew
tonight, too.
Whitworth is still hanging out on the
Oh,
Rams.
dude, that guy's like 50 years old, bro.
I was kind of forgot
Yeah.
he was playing still when I saw him at the ceremony. I was like, oh yeah, he's still on that team,
Wasn't he? He
and
used to
he
be a
was the
Bengal.
Bengals. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he
he's
used
going
to
up
be a
against his old
Bengal.
team.
Yeah, he started his
Yeah,
career off there.
yeah. Ronald's saying Ramsey is not a no doubt hard for corners to get in. He may get in, but he
Yes.
will not be a shoe in. Yeah, I think with a lot of these players, they'll eventually get in. But if they win the Super
Yeah.
Bowl, they definitely make their case for being a first ballot Hall of Famer, especially like Stafford and Donald and probably Ramsey as well. But you're right. Yeah, DBs often get
Cooper Cup.
forgotten about. Cooper Cup down the road, OBJ possibly down the road too. I mean, yeah, I mean this is it's definitely in terms of some of these players' legacies. Like Von Miller's going to the Hall of Fame no matter what. Aaron Donald's going to the Hall of Fame no matter what. I personally think Stafford gets in, but it could take him some time if he does not win the Super Bowl. So,
Yeah.
And then you got, Joe Burrow and his best friend from college,
Yeah.
T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Uzma's out. That's a big loss.
Yeah,
That's
that's a big loss.
big loss that we did not talk about in terms of the AFC Championship game.
But like Ronald mentioned too, Higbee's out too.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah, so both tight
Higbee's
ends.
out too. Yeah, both tight
And I'd
ends.
say Higbee's more important. I mean, Blanton filled in really well. And I think it was Spencer who talked about the NFL Playoff Challenge, which we'll have to take a look at. But I've got Blanton in my tight end spot right now.
Dude,
just
he had a big game.
He's a little wild card guy. I could see him getting a little sneaky red zone touchdown. So that's a little flyer. I'm trying to play some guys that just take some dart throws.
Yeah. We were like, I don't think we're purposely like toe tapping around the Super Bowl and who we think is going to win.
I'll say this:
I mean, we don't have to make a final prediction, but
Rams are 4.5-point favorites right now.
Guys, catch fam. Let us know in the chat. Who do you have at this point in time? You can change. We're not going to be mad if you change. We get, we got a lot of time to speculate, but at this
48.5-point over under too. So pretty high scoring game they're predicting, which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Ronald, I knew you were locked in as the Bengals. Spencer locked in as the Bengals. Man, I kind of think it's the Bengals right now. I really do. I've been leading Rams, but I think that everyone's been writing off the Bengals all season long.
Yeah.
I mean, even like they were winning football games, and people were like, "Oh, Lamar Jackson's going to come back, and Ben Roethlisberger, it's his final, year, and the Browns are still in this. Did you know that the Browns are in this as well?" And nobody talked about the Bengals. Bengals like, dude, Burrow and Chase, that's great, man. Look at them. They're going to be good in this league. But no one was talking about, the possibilities that they already have. And I think that they're just continuing to get written off. And I think that they are ready to prove a lot of people wrong. And I think, like you and Spencer both alluded to, right? They're a team where the Rams are not quite a team. They're, I like how Spencer put it, right? They're individuals, but
they're developing into a team, but it takes a long time to hodgepodge a bunch of superstars together.
And McVay has been here before and has not done McVay things in the Super Bowl.
He got his ass whooped.
Now, Zach Taylor, who we both really like, is not Bill Belichick, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Bengals, and I want to root with the Catch fam, so I'm going Bengals for now. But I will not be surprised if, like I've said, really with the last the whole divisional round and the championship games, I really said I will not be surprised if this goes either way. We've had I think very competitive setups and competitive games as well. But I will not be surprised if the Rams come through here. But if they do, I think there's a couple, you know, fluky calls sprinkled in there and whatnot.
Yeah, I'll say that. I think there's gonna be some interesting calls happen here in this game. Hopefully, the refs have actually done a great job for the most part at staying out. I feel like you've had a couple that you could talk about, but I felt like they've let the guys play a little bit, which is nice. I would say the one thing that's really just I keep beating my head over is just that both these guys, I think Zach Taylor is actually part of the Sean McVay cloth. He comes from Sean McVay's coaching tree, and they're both under 40. I mean, that is something to me. I mean, I think it just needs to be kind of double down on. I mean, I already talked about Sean McVay being a coaching savant, just being so young, but I mean, this is like also a thing, right? Where these quarterbacks are getting their chance at like, right out of college or a year out of college, but these coaches too are getting younger and younger every year. And it's just this new era of football. And I mean, Sean McVay, he's been there, he's done that, like you said. He lost in a pretty epic fashion. It was just like what, like 6-0. It was like the most boring Super Bowl of all time. He got
It was
out-coached.
13-10 or something like
It was
that.
like the worst Super Bowl I've ever watched in my life. But
Yeah.
it was it was just pure simply got outcoached. And I think when you look at with Zach Taylor and the defensive coordinator and his Bengals team is they have been able to outcoach, outwork teams, right? Rams, uh, I just don't know. Like I don't know. I think like it's hard for me to make a true pick right now. I'll say right now I'm leaning with the Bengals.
Yeah.
But that's purely just because of that kind of X factor I talked about with, you know, right now, I think the X factor of the clutchness is going to be that the Bengals are going to have more of that, and the Rams are going to choke. But I also, dude, I'm very scared about this offensive line situation.
I think that's a good point. Yeah.
I'm
I do.
scared for that, dude.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, the Bengals offensive line really stepped up last week. I was surprised. But not only that, Joe Burrow made a lot of really good decisions under pressure.
Yeah.
Really good decisions under pressure as well. So we'll see. It's going to be a great Super Bowl either way. And we'll have plenty more debate, beforehand as well. But I'll go Bengals for now. Steven's going Bengals for now. Catch fam is primarily going Bengals, so we're going to root for the Bengals either way.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Let's pull up. I'm going to pull up the NFL playoff challenge here. I got a couple of picks to make. Yo, look at my Mixon pick, dude. That was smart.
I know that ended up working out. Remember that first game? He had like 10 yards, and it was really sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Akers only got me 4 points last week, but I'll take it. Yeah. So I had a lot of Chiefs in there, so I got to add a couple players. And guess what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I'm gonna go all Bengals just because we're rooting for the Bengals.
Okay.
And I already got Cup in, so man, I had a feeling that if you guys go back and find that stream where I said this, I was really debating Jamar Chase in there, but I probably would have played him over Cup, so it didn't really,
Yeah.
Who? I guess I'm going Blanton here, though. I don't
You're
think I'm
doing
going Drew.
Blanton?
I don't think I'm going Drew Sample. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go Blanton.
I like Blanton. He's good, man.
Yeah,
He's a quick little dude. Good hands.
I'm gonna go Money Mac.
Money Mac for sure.
My lineup set. All right, here we go. Look at that, man. Bengals and Rams. All right, let me pull up the group here. I've already taken a peek at it, and look, it's not. Guess who's doing okay here? The Golden God's doing okay.
Yeah, right there behind. Dude, John's got a good squad though. 632.
Yeah, John has been killing it this whole time. Kyle's
But
killing
I think
it.
actually no, you can't access. Well, actually no, you can look at John's old picks, right?
I can see. Yeah, this is who you played last week. So you had a lot of Rams in there, and you had Chase and Mixon, so that makes sense. Yeah,
but
you had a pretty good squad.
I lost Kelsey Mahomes in the defense, so I replaced those guys.
It's not too bad. I think John has had mostly Bengals in the whole time, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm mistaken.
Yeah, it was Chiefs heavy.
Oh,
but he's got those two key, the same guys that I have on the Bengals.
These three guys. But then really the Chiefs still got him a ton of points throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they were still really important for this.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ronald dropping 11th, Smokey dropping to 12th. Ronald going with the Niners, so that's what hurt him there, off the top of my head. Ron the Goat dropping to 10th, Jerry at 9th, Aiden at 8, Spence at 7, Andrew at 6, Dried Ocean at 5. But I mean, these could really get switched up over the
Go to
next.
Spencer's real quick because Spence was talking about that he's got a pretty good squad here with a lot of Bengals. So uh, if you got a shit ton of Bengals here, this could really work out. He says he's got a 4-time multipliers.
Yeah. I mean, he's got
So
Burrow
Burrow,
missing days, yeah. And
okay,
Cup and well, Holland. Oh, those aren't multiplied. Oh, you get
yeah,
Cup the whole time too, so that's really not bad. That still
yeah.
gives you a shot. So yeah, that's not too bad. Let's pull up everyone who's I can see in the chat at the moment. Oh, Kyle's in here too. Kyle's killing it, bro. All right, so this is Jerry. Jerry's had some Bengals and Rams the whole time. So,
Yeah.
Jerry, did you not set your lineup last week, my dude?
Oh, Jerry! Jerry, no!
Jerry, you probably could have won.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, Derrick
Jerry.
Henry, I forgot about that.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
So this is Ronald, who really took the most upside possible, and then flipped to the Bengals over the Bills, but went with the Super Bowl picks. You gotta respect it, man.
I loved his strategy.
Yeah, it's a
That
very common
Bills
strategy, but
strategy was great, and then also having the Niners in there.
yeah, nothing wrong with it at all. Let's see here, and then we got Kyle. Plenty of Rams in here as well. A couple, or Joe Mixon and
A
Money
lot of
Mac.
Niners.
Yeah, a lot of Niners in there too. So, yeah, I think most people got a shot here. I just hope it's not you, because if you win, I'm not giving you a prize. I can tell you that much.
I will say our teams definitely are different because our quarterbacks are different. Even though I still think like when you look at fantasy, I think that Joe Burrow. I think I like Matt Stafford a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow just because.
That's
I
good.
really
That's a
don't.
good rivalry.
If I win, it's like nothing happens. Like I'm not buying myself a T-shirt. So it's like I was gonna root for Joe Burrow here. So
Dude, this Kendall Bland guy though, dude, I like him, bro. I like him a lot.
yeah. So there we have it. Playoff challenge has definitely been fun though. Appreciate you guys.
I like this thing, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Going through this with us throughout the playoffs as well. For those 10 of you who did that with us,
go to the number one guy. I think I checked his thing out and it was pretty nuts.
I don't know.
The leaderboard.
Oh, not bad. Mookie Bandit. Wow. I mean, mostly, yeah. I mean, a lot of different.
He's pretty diverse, actually.
Yeah, I was expecting like all Bengals and Rams, but really from the start, he did have
a lot of Bengals.
Yeah.
He's gonna fall off here. He's not gonna win it because he had to replace 3 key guys there. That's gonna hurt him. It's gonna be somebody that went hard on the Bengals.
This is your other team, right, Steve?
Yeah. That's where I'm at right now, guys.
Yeah, see, this is pretty diverse as well. So, but I guess really, if you get the right multipliers, I mean, really, if you had the Chiefs, I mean, they still got you a fair amount of points throughout the whole thing. So, I mean, I'm ranked pretty high. So
38. What's that? 3,800. That's beautiful. Yeah, 38,000.
38,000. I was going to let you slip at the 100 and just let it sit there. But 38,199 is not too bad.
It's good. Really, it's top 50K.
Dude, I'm still only 200 behind, like 202 behind the leader. So that's not that bad, bro. So yeah, there we go. We have it. All right, so we will start winding down the stream for tonight. Appreciate you guys coming out. Appreciate you guys hanging out, man. Had a blast. Steven, definitely fun to hop on here with you after a little hiatus from our joint streams. So good to have the Catch fam in full force tonight. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. make sure you hit that subscribe button if you tuned in and you're new to the channel. Join the Catch fam. You guys know what to do. Hit the notification bell, get in the Discord, all that good stuff, man. Had a blast, you guys. I am thinking of putting together a mock draft for the weekend, especially since there's no football. So maybe Saturday or Sunday, putting together a mock draft, fantasy mock draft. Steven, are you streaming tomorrow? Are you doing college content?
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow. So yeah,
Steven
we'll
will
do
be on
that.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, I might also we'll see how it shakes out, but I might also do one Friday too.
Ooh.
Be a shorter one, but I might do something Friday as well. So I'll get in there tomorrow, and that'll be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to get some sleep today too. I think we're both a little ZZ.
I'm
So
pumped up now, man. I drank a black tea, and
you got the black tea, bro.
I was very, very hype on our little discussions there about Tom Brady and Jackson Mahomes in Super Bowl 56.
Yeah, Jackson Mahomes
Yeah.
was talked about more than like Jimmy Garoppolo and like other guys that lost this year.
My wife does want you guys to know that I did have her pick championship games, and she picked the Bengals and the Rams, and
No way.
she wants you guys to know that she predicted the Super Bowl. So I have to put
Well,
that out
she
there
should
for her.
replace you, bro. What are
She
you doing?
should.
What are
She
you
should.
doing here?
I don't
Get
know.
Allison on here. You need to be off the show.
I don't quite know, but yeah, she probably should. So yeah, great stream, man. Appreciate you guys. Definitely had a blast. Hope you guys had a good time. Steven will be on tomorrow. I'll be sprinkling in some content throughout the week, whether it's shorts or uploads or whatever I can get to throughout the day. So just keep a lookout, man. I mean, appreciate you guys sticking with us, keeping the Catch fam going strong while the fantasy season is long gone. But yeah, we got, I know it's sad. It's sad. But we're just going to keep pumping out as much content as we can when we can, hanging out with you guys, and just looking forward to Super Bowl weekend. Unfortunately, not this weekend. We got the Pro Bowl. So if you guys want, we're going to put together some Pro Bowl content. Let us know if you guys would like to see that. That's a joke, by the way. We're not doing that. Yeah. So appreciate you guys. Steven, you got anything to say?
No, yeah, just like you guys always do. Really appreciate if you guys come out tomorrow. Help me out on that stream tomorrow. It's always a blast. It's so much better. It's like once I start seeing it tick up and it's like more people jumping in the chat. I got Jerry, I got Ron, I got Spencer, I got all the boys in there chatting it up. It's just like the energy is just so much better. It's just it's so nice. Ronald, it'll probably be that normal time of like 6:30 to 7. Actually, yeah. I'll give you a chat in the Discord. I'll let everybody know, but it's gonna be between 6 or 7. I haven't totally decided it yet, but it'll be around then.
Perfect. All right, guys. We will talk to y'all soon. Steven will see you guys tomorrow. I'll be in the chat tomorrow, more than likely as well. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. But appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here tonight, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Got nothing else to say, but thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, yes, side here on the
Catch.
on the catch. There you go.